Good morning. We're at the road department meeting of December 10th, 2024. We have minutes of November 12th, 2024 to approve.
I move we approve, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do we have a second?
Second, Mr. Chair.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. I think that's all the minutes we have this morning, Bear, so you can proceed with your report.
Okay, as you well know, we had some dust issues on Corbin last week, so we had a water truck go up there a few times and kept it wet. Seemed to help for temporary. Hopefully now we got a little moisture, it'll freeze up a little better and not have that issue for the remainder of the year. Working on some solutions going into the spring, looking at a couple other products that might be some options for us to help remedy some of the situation up there, but I've got waiting on some more feedback and information from the manufacturer and before we want to dive into that too far. So there's a lot of interesting products out there. It's just, are they going to be cost effective or worthwhile? So doing our due diligence and trying to find some options, but in the meantime, we'll just keep putting moisture on it and keep the dust down. We did have a complaint yesterday about some sanding issues on Saddle
Just a
Mountain.
real quick question on that. Would we be better off trying to get our own dust sample
To test
than allowing the property owners up there to get samples?
I'm not too worried about it because I'm confident that the product's not toxic. And so,
No, I'm not worried about the product. I'm worried about what was there before.
oh yeah, that's where my concern would be, is what's in the ground. And but I don't know that DEQ would be any kind of biased test, and that's who's supposedly doing the sampling.
Oh,
You know, I think if we get something that comes back really negative, maybe we need to address it.
oh, yeah, probably right.
There's a lot of crap in the dirt up there from the mine, because all that dirt on that road is mine tailings. So who knows what's in there, but they won't find anything that's toxic from the products that we put down.
Right. And we're ignorant about what was there, you know,
Yeah.
so that's our defense.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
yeah, I would wait and burn that bridge later if it becomes an issue. So yeah, we did have a complaint yesterday about some sanding issues on Saddle Mountain, just the one. I went up there to inspect it probably 2 hours after I got the voicemail. I don't know what the issue was, because there was sand everywhere. Most of the road had been burned off to dirt at that point in time, so then it was on the gravel portion of the end of Saddle Mountain, so I'm not sure what the real issue is. Our guys have been doing a fantastic job with sanding. I've been going out and Dylan's been going out and kind of looking at where they're going throughout the county, just to make sure we're not putting down too much or we're putting down enough. And everything we're seeing, I think this is probably, they're doing better this year than I've ever seen them do it. They're finally starting to catch on to what enough sand is, or when it's too light, or when we need to put more down just because the conditions require it. And I think our guys are doing an excellent job. So
Yeah, it was a little boulder going out to the property out there, and the sanding was really good. It wasn't it was on the corners and driveways, but it wasn't on the straight stretches, and it was, yeah, they're doing a great job.
yeah, and I was thinking about this morning. Some of these people that have complained, I've seen them in the ditch before, and I've seen the way they drive. I don't know why they get on an interstate in bad weather and they drive 50, 60 miles an hour, but they still expect you to drive 5, 10 miles an hour over on our roads in bad conditions. As we know, speed is the biggest contributing factor. I complained that they were having to use 4-wheel drive because the road was slick. I've used 4-wheel drive on the interstate in bad weather. So,
I do, yeah.
I think it's just part of driving in Montana.
Just to get out of my driveway, I use it.
I've had to use 4-wheel drive here in Boulder in the winter many times, so it's just snow. It's nature of the beast. Mother Nature wins every time. But our guys, I'm confident, are doing everything we can to make the roads as drivable and safe as possible. So, with that, just some crew updates at Montana City. They've been doing a lot of sanding. We've had guys out almost every day on shaded areas and hills and back corners, stuff that's just not burned off, or at least just getting out and inspecting it and making sure there's nothing we need to address. I did have them guys down here last week helping to remove some cottonwoods down there by the creek crossing, Elkhorn Road and Elkhorn Creek. We had 3 or 4 big cottonwoods that were big cottonwoods that were leaning almost all the way across the road. So before they became a problem, we got those out of there. Hauled all that out. Looks really good. Did a really nice job on that. Working on some yard and stockpile maintenance up there as well. We're still getting salt sand deliveries from Valley, so we have a guy there pushing up piles and moving some materials around. Just making the yard a little better. Same with Boulder, it's plowing, sanding, worked on those cottonwoods, and then we've got all that material we brought off of the Whitetail Road earlier this year. We're running that through our screens and grizzlies, getting all the big rock out and making it more usable material in our downtime. I still can't believe I can say this, but Whitehall was grading again last week. Did some more work on Cedar Hills, that rough stuff that we weren't able to address before the last storm. We got to that all the way from, I think it's Grace Road down to the highway. So that road should be in pretty good shape for the winter. And then they're doing some sign maintenance and inspection work on that today. I did have a pretty good safety concern. One of our guys have brought up over the last couple winters, and we went and looked at it yesterday up in Gruber Estates, Roberts Roost and Vigilante, those really narrow roads. We have to back in and out of those roads with our plows, and there's going to be more cars parked in there and stuff in the way, and it's going to be a matter of time before we have some damage or an accident or an injury. I'm not sure how we can proceed to improve it. There's just no room for a turnaround. Even the Dodge is a tight fit in there. There's just not enough room. These are old subdivision roads that would not meet current county standards. We're just afraid of one, somebody getting hurt, but then 2, any kind of lawsuit because we had to back half a mile down a road to be able to plow it, or backing up and somebody to turn around and somebody pulls in behind the plow. And some of those roads are so sharp in the corners that you got to do a 10-point turn in a plow just to make the corner. And pretty rough up in that area for our plows. Yeah, the Rustler's Fork and then Vigilante to Roberts Roost are the 2 biggest concerns. But that Rustler's Fork is essentially a driveway.
That's a bad one, huh?
Yeah.
Do we know the people that live up there or?
Some of them, but really, you can see how long that road is, and we have to go. We plow up Vigilante, up Roberts Roost, and then up to the last house there. And then we come around past Rustler's Fork and then back all the way down to the end and plow back out because we can't push snow down in there. There's no room to push snow in. So it's one.
I can think is if we get a hold of the landowner, or we think we could make a turnaround up there somehow.
Yeah. Which may be a little difficult because we've had some good conversations with some of them about water retention and stacking snow and plowing off the road, and they are, it'll be a conversation you'll definitely be involved in.
Okay.
So just kind of put it on the radar that it's something we might need to get up there and put some eyes on and address.
The plow pickup won't work?
It's too tight. I mean, we can use it, but it's not.
Not much
safer.
better. It's
Yeah,
not much
you
better
still-
than the plow, yeah.
You know, like yesterday it's not bad because it's warm, your mirrors and everything are clean and clear, but when we get these days where it's 0 and the wind's blowing and you can't see your mirrors because they're frosted over, it's not safe to do it. So I mean, our guys' safety, the residents' safety, that's the big concern, but that just damage in general would not be a good situation. So I'd like to get up there and
Take a
just
look.
kind of start the conversation of exploring some options, some solutions. I mean, you can kind of see the map in there. Those are platted road right of ways. Most of them don't follow the plats.
No, they don't there,
So you have a lot of issues
but there's not room for turnarounds either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of those roads should have been built with cul-de-sacs at the end.
Yeah, that's right.
But you also have issues of folks building to their property, but the road's on their property, and you've got retaining walls and other things built right along the edge of the road, and it's very tight. It's not a good situation, so.
Yeah, let me know if you wanna go up there this fall yet, or if you wanna wait till spring.
I think it'd be good to get up there before too long, maybe maybe after the first of the year, with the next couple of weeks being pretty busy, but
Yeah, okay.
I'd like you to see it with snow on the ground and what the issue is, so.
That's a good time for me.
Worked great for Bob.
We'll pick him up on the way, so you can
Yeah.
at least go look at it.
We'll take Craig with this, so he can start in on the right foot.
There you go.
I had a video conference with the representatives from Road Guard, our road information group this morning. They are really excited to work with us as far as some of the feedback we've been providing. They're really wanting to get a lot more data into their systems. Like I said, it's a very new system, so they're constantly looking at upgrading and changing and improving the interface and how it works. So we've got a really good channel back and forth now.
They'd come up a couple more units, we could get a lot more data.
We had that conversation.
I bet you did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they said, one of the things we were talking about was just, I had mentioned. Oh, I can't remember how this even came up. We were talking, one is I brought up, integrating the dash cam footage into the map. And they said it potentially would be like a one-time thing where if I went out and videoed certain sections of road with GPS data, then they could integrate it, but doing something that was a constant update with it, wouldn't be feasible, but their one engineer had mentioned the possibility of putting them onto graders so we can monitor how the graders are functioning while they're working on the road. I was like, well, that'd be great, but I can't go buy 10 more units, put them on my blades. They really want more data, so they said that they would like to offer to us kind of a lease program on them. So they were a little bit more affordable over like a 3-year period. So they're gonna come up with how cheap they can make them work. Cause I was planning on buying at least 1 or 2 over the next few years. But if we could get 2 or 3 right away, but pay the same amount, and so if we could work something out, just figure out how it's gonna work for us. So there is a good possibility in the next month or 2 that we might have 2 or 3 more units showing up to get into a couple other pickups, and we might even try one on a grader to see how that would work for us, to see if it'd be feasible. But they're really wanting just any kind of feedback, any ideas we've had. I mentioned to them integrating the elevation into the data. They're almost done with that. Working on just how we interact with it on the website. A lot of feedback that's going both ways, and they really want to make it something that's useful to us. It's a good investment for us, so it's been great.
You say you're one of the first road departments in the US to use it?
We're number 3. Yeah, Park County helped them through the beta testing, all their initial testing. They were one of the first ones to have a unit. But they said that I'm a little bit more proactive on working with them, so they want to get really involved with us, and they're going to be out here for the Mackers conference and involved in that. And so it'd be really good to.
Where are they from?
Belgium.
From Belgium, that's right.
Yeah.
They do that electronic funds transfer.
Yep, so they've got the billing portion of it, we've got straightened out, they've got a better, more streamlined US-based process for that. So, yeah, it should be good going forward, but just kind of, I think it's good for us to be kind of involved in the development of it. It kind of puts us on the map and helping them, and definitely helps us drive the creation of a product that's going to benefit us the most efficient way. So I think even if it saves us 10 days on a blade, with knowing that we don't have to grade a road, it just paid for itself. So it's a worthwhile investment. But all the other bonuses we're going to get from it will be very good. We did talk to Kelly yesterday about our opening for Montana City. We are reposting that again in the paper. We've got 3 applications. Only one of them met all the minimum requirements, at least on paper. So we're going to run it again for a few more weeks, see if we can get a few more applications and go from there. Guys up north are, especially with how light the snow's been, we've still been overstaffed right now, trying to keep everybody busy. I got a phone call from the superintendent out of Butte for MDT yesterday. They've got more cattle guards and some cattle guard bases that they were offering to us. So we're gonna go tomorrow with an army of trucks and trailers and pick up as much as we can. And then if there's more, we'll go back probably Thursday and grab some more, but we'll have quite a surplus of used cattle guards, which will be nice because we have a lot of them that are failing and we haven't been able to get ranchers to do anything about it. So we'll be
We're
able
gonna
to go-
change our policy then. We'll just fix them up without,
we're gonna
An
get with the
agreement.
ranchers and say, you know, you've been fighting us on it, but this is the policy. We're gonna replace it with these
one time
one
only.
time. And you're on the hook for it.
Yes.
Well, then this way, we're really not out any expense other than the time to do it, which our guys are here working anyways. We're not taking any money out of the county for replacing cattle guards. Because some of them are becoming real public safety concerns. And I would rather just fix them before we have a problem. Yeah. But if we don't have to buy $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 worth of cattle guards. Yeah, it's worthwhile. If we get too many of them, I'll take them to Pacific.
There you go. What are the bases, concrete or?
Yeah, they're the big concrete boxes.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, they're the big ones. I think they're 24-foot long concrete bases.
Yeah, they build good ones.
So there's a few places that those will be very beneficial to put in place where the cattle guards are constantly collapsing.
good.
Yeah, I don't know how many of those we're gonna get, but we'll see what we come back with.
Thank you, state of Montana.
Yeah, and then they got a bunch of Jersey barriers that we're gonna get from them as well, just to have, those are really handy in the yards for making stockpile bays to keep our materials separate or material storage. Some places we've used them just to help retain the slope on a bank. Very handy for that. He did say that they're still planning on doing the Cardwell Hill guardrail project, but it's probably gonna be around 26 or 27 before they get around to that. And they'll be able to get a bunch of guardrail from that project. And they did say on the milling and paving project in Whitehall that I believe is for next summer. I mentioned trying to get some millings off of that, and they're not sure how much leftovers they're gonna have, because they're gonna utilize those millings to do that, the road that goes from Sheep Camp along the frontage road there. Sheep Camp back towards town.
More in Burt Lane.
Burt Lane, yeah, they're gonna use those on Burt Lane to make that a paved road, because they've had a lot of issues with that one, so. They may be using a majority of the milling and not have much off of that project.
Well, that's good, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one, because that road drifts in real bad. It's so low and in the bottom. If they can raise it up, it'll help reduce the amount of drifting. Plus, they won't have to. They don't have a grader in Whitehall, so they have to bring a grader in from another section to grade it. And the state's not grader operators; they're plow drivers, so it'll help them a lot. That's what they were trying to get us to take over last year.
That road.
Meant it to be elevated, so big job.
Yeah, they're gonna put a couple feet of millings on it.
Yeah, big job.
So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now, trying to keep the guys busy till we get some snow. Things are too frozen.
If we get snow.
It's not looking good. Looking at the long-term forecast, looks pretty dry.
Maybe this weekend, no, that's
No.
off again now.
There's a little bit on the 21st, I think it was showing, but it's not showing much for the next 2-3 weeks.
Speaking.
It's
of-
okay, I guess.
And we need the moisture.
Yeah,
Yeah, we need to get some eventually,
we always
at least in
do.
the mountains. Seems like we always do, yeah. Speaking of the state, I've been in a conversation with the director of MDOT about the base in Main Street there, when they dug in, they had to dig across Main Street for the water lines on a couple of them. They found like this much asphalt
Mhm.
under there, so I started a new conversation right to the director saying, this is what we got. We've been fighting this for as long as I've been a commissioner, and, you know, like to get it fixed somehow. The county still would probably help a little, but it's becoming so expensive that it's getting out of our reach now, so he seemed to be good. He replied to me and say, "Yeah, I'll get the guys on and figure out what we gotta do," and I've heard from, what's his face, Vicente and Butte already, and he kind of wanted the background on what we discussed and what we agreed to, and
I'd kind of point out to them that it's a liability waiting to happen for the state, because it's a dangerous situation, and I know how they do the snow removal in there, and it's only a matter of time before one of their trucks goes into a building or a power pole or something. Yeah,
they've already got a liability because the road, or the road thawed one time and jumped the curb and right into Celeste's,
yeah, well, it's
thing
happened a
there,
few
and
times.
she's back on it now that she knows the state's got piled asphalt, because when she put in that claim, she told them that the asphalt was, on top of each other, like layered, and
Oh, yeah.
the state said, no, we mill it and then we fill it, there's no
No.
layer, so.
It's,
So we'll see what happens. I just wanna make you aware of that conversation's happening. Hopefully we can get that. I mean, it's, for the state, it's a very inexpensive project just to take that
Yeah.
out and put it back right, so.
yeah, and really, that's what they should do, is just dig that road out and redo it.
To mill it up.
Oh, I think they should just dig it out and reshape the road and put it where it should
Wow.
be.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what the project.
Because it is, and so on the maintenance side, we knew that road was 18+ inches thick in places.
Yeah,
Or
It's-
It's got utilities and all that other crap.
Yeah, the utilities are under the asphalt. The utilities have never come up, but they never did a mill and fill, they just kept layering every time they did that road. And so it needs to just be taken back down
It's like
to dirt,
this.
and put it at the right elevation and reshape it and repave it.
and there'd be very little slope from where the pizza place was down to the bar. It'd be very.
Probably be fairly level.
They
Yeah.
could,
Even
they
able-
could ditch the uphill side and be
Yeah.
fine. I mean, the way it should be, there should be a ditch on the uphill side.
Yeah, so just wanted to make you aware of that there's a conversation
That's
happening
good.
here.
Is Max still the? No, he's
No,
left,
that's,
yeah.
what's his name? He used to be, is it DNRC or DEQ? I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it is.
Anyways, he replied to me within a day, so I was surprised at that. And
That's good.
Dorrington. Chris Dorrington.
Oh, Chris, yeah. Yeah, that's right. He switched departments. Yeah.
Good.
He's a good man.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he ran it was a DEQ he ran, yeah. So.
Wonder why he made that switch.
On your way from Corbin and back, have you noticed Spring Street is running along the borrow pit of our county road again? Have you noticed that? Spring Creek, did I say Spring?
Oh, the one on Jefferson Street. Yeah, we need to see it almost looks like somebody went in there and opened up a bank of the creek to make it spill out towards the road. So I need to
can just see
see,
an ice jam happening here soon. We're gonna have water on the road.
yeah, I need to see
It gets
who
such
owns
little
that
water through
property.
that creek.
Yeah,
It's running right alongside our road right now.
All the water.
And all the
Yeah.
water is
Yeah.
in it.
we need to. I don't know what the process is. I don't know if I need to reach out to DEQ or FWP or who, but that bank along that creek needs to be reestablished and put it back where it's supposed to be.
And that's on private property. I mean,
And it's on private property, so then. Do we just send them a letter saying, hey, you're responsible for the creek on your property, you need to fix this because it's damaging our road?
Or do we fix it to keep our road from getting undercut? I don't know.
Yeah, so that's one that I've got to figure out how we just go about getting it fixed.
Okay.
And I'll probably just reach out to both of them and see who's got jurisdiction on the creek and how we can kind of enforce what needs to be done.
Yeah, and if you can ask them, and obviously we just need a permit to get in there, we can ask I think it would be, I don't know how much work it is, I guess you should find that out first.
Yeah.
If we can volunteer to do that, if a landowner will give us permission to get in there and get that put back.
Yeah, and I'm not sure the best way to do it, and we could take material, just some junk bank run material and build a new berm, or if we take a machine in and blade it back up to where it's supposed to be.
We'll take a look at it anyway, and we'll get a game plan, cause I bet you we're gonna have water on the road here
It'd
within
be
the
a
next
problem.
couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, we did notice that the other day.
Did I have anything else? I think that was all on my list. You guys have anything for Bear?
No, sir.
I think the conversation we need to start having is chip sealing. Are we kind of planning on, do we have anything in the budget for chip sealing this year?
We don't.
Nothing?
We took it all out because
We
we just.
took it all out. Took all oil products, so.
We had to, that was the only way I could get us down to the number was to pull those numbers out.
So in my opinion, we're gonna have to do Corbin Road. There's not, I don't think there's any product we can put on it that's gonna maintain itself for the traffic that's on that road, so.
It needs to be one of the options for sure.
Definitely needs to be one of the options,
yeah.
yeah. I wish we had a mill and fill going on the interstate up there anytime soon.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna go, I agree. I'm gonna go back to the fact that, you know, part of the conversation was we can't afford to maintain asphalt.
Right,
So
That's
we may
true.
come up with the 100,000 or whatever it takes to do a chip seal. But then how are we gonna afford it in 5 more years if the prices keep doing what they're doing?
right.
And then if we keep doing it there, how are we gonna do these other roads as well? I mean, I agree, that's the best option and that's what I would like to see happen, but I don't know how we're gonna
Pay for it.
have a plan for sustainable asphalt maintenance. I'm just gonna see if I could come up with a number real quick, but I think it's not working.
What other roads up there do we need to do? I know we have that one up, Saddle Mountain, that little RMD. that they
Yeah,
pay for it,
or not bridle bit, but Big Dipper,
Big Dipper, yeah.
that one needs to be done.
You do, there's two of them up there actually.
Martinez,
No,
Do we usually
in Saddle Mountain.
We did all of Saddle Mountain other than Big Dipper 3 years ago. So that they're all good. Yeah, I mean, Martinez needs something, but I wouldn't put chip seal on it until you fix that first section of road.
Yeah, Martinez.
South Hills.
Moonlight Ridge
South Hills is gonna
and
need it.
South Hills.
Plum Gulch is gonna need it again soon.
so maybe we can work on cost. Obviously Corbin, we're gonna have to put the cost of that one, but the rest of them, I don't know how many miles you can do in a season.
Been doing 7.
You know, we've been doing 12, well, 12 lane miles, so 6 road miles. And that's
Corbin
been,
would probably require a double shot, huh?
yeah.
So let's start having that conversation. We need to find the money for it. Corbin at least, and those other RMDs, we're kind of responsible for keeping them. I don't know. Cause we're responsible for labor and they're responsible, I don't know, is the labor more than the materials? I guess labor doesn't cost anything if we're paying for it.
Yeah, labor is not anything that we really have to budget for, because our guys are working anyways.
Okay.
Same with equipment, but you're talking.
Wear and tear on equipment.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's I haven't seen this year's cost, but the last time we bought it was $900, almost $900 a ton.
For
oil-
chips,
For
for
oil.
oil.
And then chips went up to $35 to $45 a ton for chips.
Okay.
And 4 years ago, it was less than half of that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And we spent just under 200,000, I think, my first year, and it was just over 400,000 last year for chips.
Knock on wood, oil could start coming down.
It could.
Knock on wood.
I also think there's a lot of
Could.
suppliers that have seen how much people are willing to pay, that it's not gonna come down enough.
Always goes up, but never comes down.
Well, Trump, he plans to drill baby drills, so.
Yeah,
If gas prices go down, I think it'll help, but I don't know how fast that'll go down.
yeah, I still don't see it coming down to what it was 5 years ago,
No, it never really comes
regardless,
down.
because people have already paid for it.
Well, let's start to look at that. I mean, if we can do Corbin, but if we're doing Corbin, we might as well do Saddle Mountain, whatever that one is, Moonlight or whatever. Especially if it doesn't cost us besides manpower. We'll have to figure out the money, because, yeah, Corbin was an experiment and I guess admit that it was a failed experiment. It didn't work the way we wanted it to, whether it was conditions or dirt or the product or traffic.
I'm still not sure it failed, but
Yeah,
what we had was a horseshit road we had was a lousy road there that now is a good, solid road,
yeah.
solid.
It's a rough boat.
I don't think that
Dusty.
I don't think it's so much as the road failed. I think it was, and this is on me, is the way that we went about it with the public was not the right way. And if we would have had meetings and informed them and said, these are some things you may be dealing with in the future. we wouldn't be in the situation we're at.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you completely.
I don't know, they'd have been unhappy and we'd have done it.
They'd been
anyway.
unhappy, but if
Yeah.
we could have prepared them a little and said, look,
A
there's
little.
probably gonna be days where there's some dust and we may have to address some dust, but it's gonna be something you also have to live with, because we can't afford the asphalt. It would have been a little bit different scenario, at least we would have been ahead, but like I said, that's all on me for not pushing for meetings before we did the project, but.
No, we should have known too. Yes, we've been here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just at least start looking at that. We can look at prices. I don't know if prices now are better than prices in the spring or.
Well, I can reach out to Ergon, who's generally who generally wins the bids for the state oil bids,
Okay,
and just ask them what the price this year was and what if they have any forecasting for next year. And, go from there, and then getting chip prices isn't much, and I've got a spreadsheet I created that I just put in my mileage, and it tells me how much I need, and I can tell you a rough cost.
okay. We should probably also, depending on what the cost comes out, get a hold of those RMD people and say, if we do it this year, it's gonna cost this much. Can we wait another year, see if oil comes down? You know, cause it's gonna nail their RMD more than
Well, I think there's a couple RMDs that won't be able to afford it,
maybe. That could be.
like, with Martinez is sitting pretty low.
Yeah,
And they kind of stayed out of it now anyway.
And Martinez is one, in my opinion, and I think they would agree with the condition of the road, that we could look at just hiring a mill for the day and just come in and mill that road. Just grind it all up similar to what we did, but I don't even know that I'd put dust pods in it right away and just turn it back to gravel. And,
see what it does. Huh?
you know, we could look at adding a treatment to it after it's milled, but I'd look at milling it and giving it a year to kind of work that debris out like we're having an issue with on Corbin. And then look at doing a treatment, whether it's just magged every year and they just pay to mag it every year. That's more sustainable for them than all the potholes they're dealing with.
True.
You know, they could hire a contractor to come out for a day and fix that road if they had potholes versus having to come and dig it all up and repave it.
Right.
I think that's a
Gotcha.
more sustainable option for them.
Cheaper option to the, yeah.
And I don't think most of them up there would be opposed to it if, you know, they knew, hey, here's a good road. Here's you know, we're gonna pay to have it magged every year, just like Forest Park does a lot of their stuff, and at least then they'd have a smooth road, and if it was treated, they wouldn't have that major dust problem, and you know, I think they'd be happier than dealing with all the potholes they're dealing with now.
Right.
You could probably do a majority of that for what the cost of just fixing what they have would be. So, but then have it sustainable.
Good deal. Yeah. So let's start that conversation and
Yep.
we'll have to scrounge up some money somewhere and
Take it out solid waste.
Coming from the legislature.
in the legislature. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold my
They're
breath.
gonna give us part of the gambling taxes or the marijuana taxes.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It would be.
Or if we can get.
It's not enough.
I don't think our
They're
portion of
gonna
that
give
would
us
be enough to do
$100,000,
a chip seal
but
job
pay
for a
a
year.
chip seal.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get SRS too here by.
We're gonna get that. Sounded like it was
At some
coming.
point, yeah, hopefully we'll get that.
Yeah, we need to,
But like Barrett said, that's a one-time funding for that project. And
Right, yeah,
how do you fund it long-term? You know, that's
right,
you've got to
Well,
decide now.
you know, to do the asphalt, we need to just plan on $400,000 to $500,000 a year.
right,
Because it's just not those roads, it's, you know, we have roads here in Boulder that need to be done, there's roads in Whitehall that need to be
Yeah,
done.
we do.
You know, well,
How do you ever come up with that kind of money?
the mileage we were doing before, we were not keeping up on a schedule of roads that needed to be done. We should be doing more than what we've been doing.
just to keep up with it.
Yeah, to be able to that 5 and 7 year cycle. And we had a lot of them that, to do them right, we needed a contract to have them come in and chip seal, crack sealed before we chip seal, because the cracks are so big, but that's again, a cost we can't afford to do.
No,
So we just chip seal them and hope it holds, and
yeah, we're poor boying. We're boying the whole deal, you know.
asphalt millings and chip seal were great when you could afford to take care of them.
Did you hear how Missoula did on their levy? Was that in this election or?
Never heard anything on it.
I have to look at that and see.
I'll call Shane Stack and see. how
Road
that
levy?
went.
Yeah, Missoula County went up for a road levy to help make ends meet, so.
Yeah, it was a big one.
It was a big one, yeah.
And it's like $1 million. I can't remember how much it was, 5 or 6 million.
Yeah. All right, Bear, thank you very much.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks. Mike.